Yeah, today I just wanted to show you my bark tower that I've got here in the backyard. You'll just see there, I'll just zoom in a little bit. You can see that it's inch by inch bird wire there that I've got rolled up into a tube, and you can see that I've just poked in, well in this case Tillandsia there in front of us. I've just poked that into the mesh and zip tied it onto the whirl mesh, and then the roots will go into the bark chip that's inside the bark tower. I got the idea from the Sydney Botanical Gardens. They had a big one of these hanging up in their fernery, and but a lot of the bark chip had actually fallen out of it, but the bromeliads and that had attached themselves to the wire and were hanging there on the outside of the frame, even though the bark chip in the middle was kind of missing. So you can see there's the root there, and it's going in. So I'll just demonstrate how we went about making that. I've also got some sort of potted bromeliads hanging onto the wire as well, so that works well. And then eventually you can get plants all the way around the cylindrical tube, and it's not a bad way of showing the plants off. Yeah, just continuing on to the video I just took, and I'll attach this video to it. I just wanted to show you how I went around rolling up that bark tower that I've got out there. Now it was it's about 8 feet high, so there was a couple of rolls depending on how you buy it, and you work out your circumference. And so that one there is probably like a foot across, so you know, about that round. If you compare that to my chest, without getting too carried away with the measurements, you can go as big as you want or as thing, but that was a good size there. So it was probably 400 mil across in metric. So you can just sort of imagine that you're rolling the wire up. So I've got a piece of scrap wire here. Naturally this is too small, and it'll be kind of rounder than that, but to make it really neat, you can wrap that around, cut all your tails off, and then use mashbow rings or twitch it up with wire. What I found is a really neat way to do it, if you've got the time to do it, is you're using your pointy nose pliers. And what I do first is I just snip off probably every, just keep one and then cut off two, and keep one and then cut off two, like that. So yeah, and then what we do there is, as you're rolling it up, you just taking that back with your pliers, so it's the little tail stuck through your wire tail. They're all completely cut off on one side, and then you leave your tails on the other side, and then you can see there's one there, and then there's three, and there's another one there. So you'll push them around, wrap them around like that, and grab hold of your pointy nose pliers, which I've got here, and you can keep just twisting them around loosely like that, and you just twist them around, say twice, and just make sure that little tail was poking inwards when you finished. I've made up a lot of bird cages and stuff like that, and it's a really neat way of finishing that off. So it'll all be stitched down one side. Yeah, and then once you've got it done, put it where you want it, sit it on the ground. I've got mine sitting up on a concrete pot. It was sitting up on a stump, but it's deteriorated, and then you're just filling up your bark tower from the top. That's one of a better name. I've never actually seen it done or been able to buy them, so I'm calling it my bark tower. That was a name that I've created for myself. So you can imagine it's a bigger version of this, sort of packs down. It does deteriorate, and every now and then I've got to add a bit of bark chip to the top of it to keep it full. It doesn't deteriorate super fast, so it's not like it's going through a couple of bags of bark chip a year or anything like that. I just like to keep it full, and then you can just gradually mount your bromeliads and your tillandsias to it, and it'll root into it. The other thing is, when it gets water from the top, or you can have the hose just dripping into the top of it, and it wets all your bark chip, and the plants will be seeking the moisture there, and the roots will go in. Irrespective of how far the roots go in, the roots will attach to the wire, and if they're a little bit lazy, well, the zip ties will hold them on anyway. So I find it's a really interesting and very nice way to show off a a heap of plants in the yard, and as you walk around the bark tower, you've got like that 360 kind of display of plants. So yeah, give that a go. You could make miniature versions of this and hang them in your fernery if you wanted to, or you can have it a bigger version of sitting on the ground holding its own weight and propped up on a pole. I've got them attached to the center of my frame that holds my shade cloth up. So yeah, that's just a little something you might like to try. All right, bye for now.